Because I forgot to in the video, I just want to take a moment to wish y'all a happy Halloween. Go out, have fun, and eat candy, party, all that stuff. Hope you have a good night. But anyway, enjoy the video. Why, hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. I'm Corny Swiss, and today I'm driving around the Tiger and a Panther and a Panzer 470, or Yak Panzer 470 rather, in the Break Poland event. This video, I'm going to talk about a few new things actually. That we got hit with a Ninja update yesterday. Today for when I'm recording this, tomorrow for yesterday for when this actually goes out. If that confused anyone, I'm sorry. But we got hit with a Ninja update, and this Ninja update did a couple cool things. It kind of introduced. The first thing I thought was interesting was it introduced the idea of an arcade matchmaker and a realistic battle, simulator battle, I guess, matchmaker. So I guess the vehicles are going to have different battle ratings based on what mode you're playing in. Which could be really, really interesting. I haven't had a chance to really read or look at the charts and stuff and see what the changes are. But I think that's pretty cool. I think that's a good way to do it. Because some tanks are really hard to use in realistic and simulated battles because you don't get the aim assistance, especially for tanks. Like large caliber Russian guns are difficult to use, 152 millimeters, difficult to use. So I don't think they should have a particularly high battle rating because getting a shell on target is actually fairly difficult. Oh god. That was cool. The next thing I wanted to mention is the shot cam. I guess is what I'm gonna call it. It's the best name I have for it. I'm kind of a dummy here, but you can see it. I shoot that Tiger and I get that cool little camera up there, which I really like. Now what is that? Okay, well, why do I like it? First off, it's more information for me, and I like that. I like having more information about where my shell hit, things like that. I got worked over by Panzer 4H there. But particularly it tells me if I'm firing at someone I can't see. With this, I'm able to adjust my fire accordingly. Now, to some degree, for example, in simulator battles, I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know if it's in there or not, but if it is, I don't think it should be. Because in simulator battle, I don't think you should really get any indication on whether you, where the shell went in. You should know what you damaged. I feel like that's fair. But knowing exactly where the shell went in is a little too much for me. Because then you can adjust your fire accordingly. However, in arcade and to some degree realistic, I don't think it particularly matters. Because you get those markers above people's heads anyway, so you know where they are, and at this point I don't think it's telling you anything you couldn't interpret for yourself, if that makes any sense. Based on my knowledge of that Panther, if he was behind some shrubs or whatever, I could have a general idea of where I hit him based on how tall I know his tank is and then the marker and things like that. In realistic and arcade, I think it's fine, but in simulator, I struggle a little bit to be on board with that gun cam, if it is the thing in simulator. But I'm sure that all that will get sorted out. It's also interesting because now this gun cam can actually tell us accurately what the shell did when it hit. Before, you could see what happened when the shell hit you, if it knocked you out. Now I can see exactly why the shell I fired was able to knock out his tank or set his engine on fire, or whatever it was. It's going to show things like gun trap or shell traps on the turrets of tanks really, really well, because it's going to give us basically the path of the shell, the deflection, and all that stuff, which would be really cool. Now, repairing right here was a bold decision because I am sitting in front of a Tiger. However, he for some reason, didn't just shoot me square in the face. Not sure. But I called in a bunch of arty on him anyway. He's actually going to get knocked out prior to killing me, so that's nice. But, since now we've talked about the gun cam thing, the break game mode. I know this has been a thing before, because I've seen it on, I think they did this on the dev server. I didn't get to play any games on the dev server pre 1.43. But I'm pretty sure they did this game mode on the dev server. And I was actually really interested by it. I like it because it gives you clear objectives. It gives you have to defend this point, you got to capture that point. If you capture that point, you get a new spawn. You can spawn closer to the battle. Which, another dancing street pole though. Which gives you, to some degree, an advantage because you can spawn closer. However, I don't think it's such an advantage that it's gonna, just end the game. Because the enemy team can still spawn, right? Which is cool. It's just now that for them to win, they have to push you back and then push you back again. If that makes any sense, they gotta take the position you captured. They still gotta take your position and then take the other position. So it's basically made the road for them to win harder. And usually if you're able to cap the first point, usually that means you're dominating to some degree and you can move forward and either cap the second point or just knock out all the enemy tanks. And I like that it's on, the Poland map. So like you can see right there what I did to that Panther. The shrapnel got in there and blew up his tank, which is nice. And there's a whole buttload of tanks coming over here. So I'm just calling in arty on arty on arty. What I also like though about this game mode is that now for us to win, we basically have to push all the way to their spawn, which on this map is wide open. It basically takes away the, what would I call it? It takes away the advantage because now both teams have to advance through the open to engage the enemy. And I feel like that's sort of an even playing ground, and the defending team has an advantage because everyone's spawning there. So their troops, I guess, are going to be replenished faster. Whereas even with the advanced spawn location, that doesn't mean that's still far enough away where the defending team has a chance to fight it back, which I really like. I think that's good map design, or good game mode design, is when the defending team still has a chance, even if they've been losing ground. But, that being said, it's interesting. I hope they put it into the game as a full-on game mode, because as far as I know, it's not in the game as, like, because we have conquest, battle, domination. We don't have this one, and I really hope they do put it in. But I'm realistically down for just about any game mode, because it just, makes things more exciting, makes it interesting, different, and I'm all about that. By the way, shout out to the guy on the other team who's going to end up with 11 kills. I mean, holy cow, that's a lot of kills. I mean, in a game this populous, there's lots of players on both teams. Getting high kill counts, in my opinion, it is possible, but to get really high ones, I think it's really hard. You have to get lucky, or be really good. But I'm just driving my little bug tank. I like these little Jagdpins. I always think of them as like little beetles. Just running or scurrying around with their little gun, just shooting people in the face. But I'm gonna read over the patch notes more. That was the gist of what I got. Is this gun cam thing, and some changes in how the battle rating is gonna work. I was perusing Reddit and saw that the AMA with, forgot his name now, but it was basically people asking questions about what the player council and the devs have been talking about and things like that. And I thought, based on reading it, I mean, honestly, I didn't involve myself with any of that because I don't really care. Yeah, I guess is my main thing. we'll get there when we get there. Is my opinion. Once we get to the point, like I think what they're going for is they're. Oh, hello P-47. You can't ram me. Please stop. I think they're going to throw everything into the game, and then balance it and make it work and things like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see like American and British tanks before we see a real sort of overhaul to the idea of the battle ratings. However, they did say that they're working on just completely getting rid. I think, don't quote me. I think they said they're getting rid of a quote unquote battle rating system, moving back to more of a tier system, which I don't know, could be really good. But anyway, that's all speculation. But in this game, if you've been paying attention to the gameplay and not listening to my silky smooth voice, we have pushed through the town. I got knocked out of my Panther. I'm in my little bug now. And we have a pretty strong handle on the game. It's basically, this is the guy who's knocked out just everybody. And I believe he's the last one left. That shot was kind of critical because it hits his gunner. Now he's basically unable to shoot me because he closes on me, and I have a really short tank. I believe I knocked out his horizontal drive, so I'm basically just gonna run up and face hug him. Because by face hugging him, I don't let him move the tank, or I can jam him up a little bit, which makes it so his gun can never point at me. And so I'm just gonna sit here and pound shells into his face until he dies. And there you go. And I believe that was the last enemy tank. I think it was. So I mean, it wasn't a great game by me, but it certainly wasn't bad. I also like how in these games now, the planes that like crash or get shot down, a lot of times they're left there. I don't know if it's oop, that one disappeared. I don't know if it's I guess it's when the player leaves, it disappears. I guess that's how it works. But anyway, I enjoy the break game mode. I like that it was on Poland because I'm really growing on the idea of the Poland map. I like it. I think it's a pretty good map in my opinion. But you know, that's just my opinion. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you're enjoying the Ninja update that they're so fond of doing to us. And I'll see you next time.